Some state lawmakers want to change the way children under 18 can be prosecuted by eliminating the state's direct file law. It currently allows them to be charged as adults for violent crimes. Olivia Bosser talked to some local DAs, trying to find out why they're concerned the changes could put these young offenders at further risk.
It's not common for children to be charged as adults, the exception being in cases involving violent crimes. Last year, a 14-year-old was brought into the Clearfield County Courthouse to answer to homicide charges as an adult. That case has since been dropped down into juvenile court, as has been about 2/3 of all cases in the state involving juvenile defendants. Now, some lawmakers want to make drastic changes to how we handle juvenile justice in the Commonwealth. 6 representatives from Philadelphia want to repeal Pennsylvania's direct file law for violent crimes committed by juvenile offenders age 14 and older. Clearfield County District Attorney Ryan Sayers agrees there needs to be a conversation about making some reforms to the juvenile justice system, but says eliminating direct file isn't one of them.
The statute is very limited already on what we have the ability to direct file. And those include the ones that we had talked about before: murder, rape, sexual assault, aggravated assault, those very serious crimes.
The lawmakers behind the legislation argue the current law allowing children to be tried in adult courts is cruel and unnecessary punishment that can lead kids to becoming repeat offenders. They also say that it's damaging to their well-being. But Blair County District Attorney Pete Weeks says in some cases it's the only way to protect the well-being of other younger offenders.
We have a fair amount of cases in Blair County where we have a 16-year-old or a 17-year-old raping someone under the age of 11 or 10. And if you have someone engaged in that type of criminal behavior, does it make sense to put them with other juvenile offenders who you're attempting to rehabilitate? I would say no, that does not make sense.
Both district attorneys say charging a juvenile as an adult is a decision they don't take lightly, but there are rare cases they choose it, like in 2020, when DA Weeks prosecuted 4 teens for homicide. He says at the time, all 4 were already on juvenile probation or in the juvenile justice system.
I've lobbied and said many times that we need more resources for juvenile probation to be able to supervise them more closely. We need to be going through their phones, their social media, enforcing curfews when they are committing less serious offenses before they escalate to the charges that cause us to direct file or place them into adult court.
DA Sayers says one of his major concerns is that even with sufficient supervision, there's one aspect of rehabilitation outside of their control: time.
If somebody commits a crime like a rape or a murder, being the most serious, at age 17 and 11 months, if this statute goes through, they're going to be charged as a juvenile, and they'll be done at age 21. That's a wholly inadequate time for not just incarceration, but supervision and rehabilitation. That does not allow the system to do what it needs to do to seek justice for these crimes.
Both Blair and Clearfield County say they've experienced a huge uptick in teens committing crimes. Right now, the most serious offenders can be housed in adult prison with restrictions keeping them out of sight and earshot of adult inmates. The DAs are worried about where the teens would be housed should this bill pass. 99%
of the time, juvenile probation is unable to find a bed at a detention facility. We've had a stabbing case where the offender was under the age that allowed us to direct file as an adult. That juvenile offender was accused of stabbing someone. They were taken into custody, and they were returned by juvenile probation the same evening to, I believe, a grandparent, because there is simply no beds available for juvenile offenders in the juvenile system.
In the memo, lawmakers did not say how they plan to address this resource crisis, but this is all coming on the tails of the Shapiro administration announcing a closure study for SCI Rockview, one of only a handful of facilities in central Pennsylvania able to house juvenile offenders. Reporting in Clearfield, Olivia Bosser, WTAJ News.